Hey guys, Armand Violi, MHPvalue.com. So in today's video, I want to break down the Wahpeton mobile home park listing I have in a very easy to understand way, so you guys don't have to ruffle through a bunch of rent rolls, profit loss statements, going through our package, and not really getting a full understanding of this deal. We are doing a call for offers on January 26th, Friday next week, I believe. Yeah, so January 26th, offers are due. Now, Wahpeton Mobile Home Park, this is a 130 unit listing. You could download these packages by clicking the links in this email if you are looking at this off my email blast. And if you're on YouTube, I should put the link in the description below. But you guys can download the package, full profit loss statements, rent rolls, various pictures, park map, different things like that. But this is the offering memorandum. Now, I'm going to go through the overall financials and the actual numbers, not broker adjusted expenses and rounded down expenses. The actual numbers, so you guys can see what's actually there and what the potential upside is of this park. So very first thing, this is a 130 unit community listed for $5 million. At the $5 million purchase price, and I'm going to break down these numbers for you guys. This is a combined, if you're looking at lot rental income and the RTO, park on home income, like the total NOI, at $5 million, this is a 6.71% cap rate. If you're looking at the land only, so just the lot rent only portion at the $5 million asking price is 5.76% cap rate. For an institutional size deal like this, that is actually not that aggressive a cap rate. We're seeing things still trade around a 6% cap rate because when you're looking at agency type debt, you could get your interest rate now probably in the high sixes. We have multiple quotes on other Fannie deals that I'm under contract right now as of January 18th, 2024. So do not be alarmed by that. And let me break down these expenses so you guys can get a full understanding of the deal. So very first thing, it's located in Wahpeton, North Dakota. Wahpeton, North Dakota is a market on the southeast side of North Dakota. Biggest pushbacks we've had here, because I want to go through the hair of the deal so you guys understand the upsides and the downsides of it. The main things we're running into right now as far as the pushback on the deal, or the main concern we've had from investors, is this is just a smaller market. So it's about somewhere around an 8,000 to 10,000 population town. It's right on the border of Minnesota on the southeast side of the state. So as you guys can see here, this is the cutoff North and South Dakota. Here's the border. This is Minnesota. This is North Dakota. Now, this is an hour south of Fargo, which is a major city in North Dakota. So Fargo has a lot of large operators, and a lot of the buyers that are looking at this right now are owners in Fargo. But those are like large national funds, REITs, major operators are in Fargo because that's a major city. Wahpeton is essentially a blue-collar, it's people wealthy with jobs who don't want to live in a city and like the small town vibes. Those are the people that go to Wahpeton, North Dakota. This isn't like a rundown, dying market. You'll see just with the pictures on the actual package itself, people in this community have nice cars. They take good care of their homes. It's an institutional quality asset. This is not a rundown, small market, 1970s homes, piece of junk community. This is a top tier 130 unit community, literally dead center in town. You guys can see on these pictures how nice of a community this looks. So let's get straight into the actual financials of this, and I'll give you guys the overview. So if you scroll here to page 25 in the offering memorandum, instead of going on the actual rent roll, guys, because his rent rolls and profit losses are just a little bit messy. All right, they're not clean, broken out where you're going to see this simply. You got to kind of digest it. He has his utility bill backs mixed in with the rents, but based off the actual leases that are in place and the actual breakdown of what's currently there on the rent roll, it's just hard to dissect it on the rent roll. I recommend run your numbers off of what we have here on page 25. This is actual what's currently there, not broker adjusted numbers or pro forma. This is actual current. So we have 130 total units. There's 75 current paying lot renters, tenant-owned homes at $400 a month. 18 homes on rent-to-own contracts. These rent-to-own contracts range anywhere from 5 years to as high as 25 years. He has that separated out, $400 for the lot rents, and then the average RTO payment, we have it averaged out, is $343 per month. Now, these RTOs are, most of them are longer, so I would not expect these RTO payments to go away anytime soon. And then Park on Homes, you have 7 occupied, $400 a month, plus $425 home payment on top. Again, that's an average. And then 6 vacant Park on Homes. 2 of them were abandoned. He's currently getting the titles for them. The other 2 are vacant, so 6 vacant Park on Homes that need light to moderate rehab to be rented, and then you got 24 vacant lots. Additionally, then this, you have 8 storage units that are rented out at $100 a month. Just keep that in mind. So top figures, one, let me just go through the home inventory so you guys could see. This is an example list. We haven't updated this since we first launched, so it might be different by 3 or 4 homes, but overall, almost every single Park on Home and RTO home here is 2013 and newer. You guys could see here by the years and ages, almost everything is 2013 and newer. You have a couple that are 1998, but there are no 1970s old homes. Now, let's get into the financials. So the main things with this deal is, one, the profit loss statement's a little bit messy, but the income is there. So actual collected park income last year was $520,000. He's collecting $549 based on the current rent roll now. The value add for this deal. So yes, it's a smaller market. So is infill going to be quick? Probably not. Since it's a $400 lot rent market, do you want to go spend $50,000, $40,000 to $50,000 on a brand new home, bring it in, set it, try and sell it off? That's probably lengthy. The real value add here is 2 main things. You have an owner of this park who does not have full-time management in place. He lives out of state. So a couple things. He has smart Metron meters on all of the lots. So it's city utilities, sub-metered, smart meters on all of the lots. But he hasn't checked the meters and raised the recapture or the billing amount in years. So right now he's currently off of a water, sewer, trash cost of $73,000 plus $30,000. Let's say $100,000. He's only collecting about $60,000 off of over $100,000 in utility and this meter expense too. So he's got a meter expense of about $7,000. So if you're looking at this, he collects good meter fees. So when you're looking at this, he's only recapturing 50 to 60% of the actual utility cost. So the very first thing is, one, getting actual in-place management in there, increasing the utility cost. So that's going to make you already day one $40,000 to $50,000 in additional revenue. And then really the value add here is going to be rehabbing the remaining 6 units and either selling them off or renting them and getting those occupied, aside from doing standard 6% CPI inflation rent increases. Now let's talk about getting this deal financed. All right, so what we have here, and this has been the biggest question, is how are you going to get this deal financed? It's aggressively priced. We're asking $5 million. The seller is willing to come off that number, not by much, but if you are thinking about offering somewhere in the mid 4s, this is a very lucrative deal. And stay on this video because at the end I'm going to show my actual underwriting, adjust pricing to show you guys what the internal rate of return, cash on cash returns are, and things like that look like. And so now these figures that I'm calculating, these are real expense ratios. We're running on just the land only income a 48% expense ratio, which I actually think is high. 2 years ago he was running 38%, went up to 53% because he had some changes and he added a property management fee and a couple things. He doesn't have a property management company there. He takes that for himself. So, I mean, maybe you get away with that and you just have a really good staff. So we adjusted staffing, different things like that. These are his actual numbers over here. These are our adjusted expenses here. But we're running a 48% expense ratio on just the land alone. The minimal park on home income we have here, we're running 41% expense ratio. So keep in mind, like, we are running real expenses in our package. This T10 column annualized, that is his actual profit loss numbers. But I would refer to the current rent roll over adjusted expenses because I think this is a little more realistic how you guys are going to run it. You're probably going to have one full-time staff there for at least, a couple grand a month, 24 to 28,000 a year. You're going to have a 5 to 6% management fee on top of that. All of the other expenses will be pretty much kept in line. But at these figures, you have a land-only $288,000 NOI. Now, likely terms you're going to get, if you get agency debt right now, I believe you will probably get somewhere around 65% LTV, 6.75% interest rate, 30-year amortization. If you can get a couple years interest only, which I believe you could, this will actually help these numbers. But we're only slightly under the land-only debt service coverage. Why we think this is still worth the $5 million. If you look at this, the actual combined income is well over the 125x debt service coverage requirement. And if you look at this from a cash flow perspective at the $5 million pricing, let me pull up my page here. In year one, if you just fill a few of the homes and do a standard rent increase, so you're already at 7.39% cash on cash returns, assuming you bought this at $5 million, got the debt terms we're talking about. Year two, again, you haven't done any infill and vacant lots. All you did was just standard rent increases, and you are getting the vacant homes filled. You're north of a 10% cash on cash return. So you're at double-digit cash on cash returns for a 130-unit community without doing any major differences besides increasing your utility bill back and filling the remaining vacant homes that are already there. A couple ideas for raising the NOI of this property. I am of the opinion that you might want to, for easier infill, rather than having to buy new homes, have them delivered, possibly lose money on the homes. If you put in more storage components on the vacant sites or in the vacant areas of the park where there's some land where there used to be a playground, for example, that is an extremely easy upside factor, aside from filling the vacant homes there, that yes, it might be hard to do crazy rent increases. It might be hard to bring in homes into this community, but there are various ways you could create immediate upside with this community and be cash flowing, real cash on cash returns, not cash flowing down the road after sinking $500K into the deal. This is immediate. You could be cash flowing well into double-digit returns. Let's talk about long-term returns now. And I know a lot of this is speculative, guys, so everyone's going to underwrite things differently, but look in our package, look at the actual current occupancy to make your lives simple. Run your numbers off of this. This is basically your rent roll and profit loss statements broken out for you, and it's easy to digest instead of you guys having to go all the way through these complicated rent rolls and profit loss statements. But let me talk about and this is just an underwriting thing just to show you guys. So when I come here to the underwriting, I want to talk about like an internal rate of return, just kind of a theoretical thought process. So let's look at this let's say you guys came in, and I'm just spitballing numbers here, right? Let's say you came in at 4.5 million. So let's all look at this column. 4.5 million will put the land-only cap rate at 6.4%. And now you are covering debt service based on standard terms here. Maybe we even do, let's say we got 2 years of interest only. Again, I didn't adjust for the interest only payments, but let's just keep the debt service simple. You're covering your debt service coverage ratio here at 127x. So at the 4.5 million, this covers debt service with very standard agency debt terms right now in a park of this size. Let's talk about where your returns are going to go over time. So on the land, all we're doing is a 6% increase per year. We're assuming year one, you get all 6 homes that are already in place, occupied, and then filling 6 more per year. But let's say we even took this down to, let's say we only infilled 3 homes per year. When I'm looking at internal rate of return, so you're buying this, you're cash flowing already, and I'm bouncing around, guys, but bear with me. So again, now we're only doing 3 infill instead. So we're still cash on cash returns, 8%, double digit by the end of year 1 going into year 2. And see, we're healthy, very healthy double digits, a 5-year average cash on cash return, 14%, 10-year average, 21%. Let's look at internal rate of return. So we're assuming you're going to have $50,000 in miscellaneous CapEx. We got closing costs, capital contributions, because you're doing 65% LTV. We're assuming $15,000 in lot prep per vacant lot. Now, this is honestly very high. It's probably going to be closer to 5 to 10,000, but we like to run 15,000 to be conservative on our numbers. We don't have this in the package because this can be adjusted a bunch of different ways. But let's say you did our infill plan of 3 homes per year and a 6% increase, rental increase. If you were to exit this property in year 5 at a 7.5% disposition cap rate. And we are accounting for 2% closing costs, your loan payoff, things like that. You're going to net $4 million from the sale. The total sale price is going to be north of $7 million. And your internal rate of return on this is going to be 25% plus. And we're talking just filling 3 homes per year and only doing 6% rental increases and increasing the utility bill back. This is no major CapEx. We're not talking about doing some crazy overhaul on 20 homes. We're not talking about doing anything drastic. And now an easier infill than this would be just to bring in storage units. So when you guys are looking at this deal, think about it's a very good opportunity to get into a 130 unit institutional quality type deal with home inventory alone that's worth $1 million. This home inventory alone is worth almost $1 million. So when you're looking at that, the asking price of this property, like if you guys look at just these pictures, this is an institutional quality asset and you're buying it for less than $50K a pad. You're not going to be able to find this. City utilities, 130 units, majority tenant-owned homes, all 2013 and newer home inventory for cheaper than this anywhere in the U.S. with paved roads, centrally located. Now, a few things on the market, just so you guys know. We have all of this in here, top attractions. There's 2 major employers, so you know that there's strength in the market. 2 major employers in Wahpeton, North Dakota. I'm trying to find a page in here just to show you guys. So 2 major employers, we have St. Francis Medical Center, which is a major medical center. This is not some small little local hospital. This is a major medical center with surgeons, and this drives majority of the job growth in Wahpeton. You have an airport for Breckenridge and Wahpeton right here because it's right on the border. And you have North Dakota State University, their College of Sciences here. So you have 2 major employers. Both of these are less than 10 minutes away from the park. And now when you're looking at Wahpeton as a whole, you have the major highway right here that goes straight up to Fargo. It's about 45 minutes to an hour. You have Breckenridge right across the little lake here. The park isn't in a flood zone or anything, so if anyone's wondering about that, don't worry. And you have the major employers, and when you look at the part of town, which is the nicer part of town versus the worst part of town, this is centered right where the community, the city center of Wahpeton's right over here. This is the good side of town where the suburbs are, all of the major, the main housing, the good side of town. If you go to the Breckenridge side, that's where it gets a little more run down and things like that. We are nestled center in the best part of town, right off the main road. You are less than an hour away from Fargo. So if you are a major operator in a major city, you could fly straight into Fargo, direct flights. Drive over to Wahpeton. If you guys drive this park, you will see this is a top grade community. And the fact that the seller's willing to look at offers in the mid 4s right now, this is a great opportunity for you guys to get into a 130 unit community, majority tenant owned homes, amazing home inventory, paved roads, on city utilities, already sub-metered. All this needs is just more in-place management and a focused operator, because right now the current sellers are looking to retire. It's just not something that they want to focus on. They have their house down in Florida. They have 2 other communities too that are already stabilized. This one not having a manager in place. It's just a hassle for them. Now's a good time to get into this property. So I hope this video was helpful for you guys. If anyone has any additional questions, my contact info is in the offering memorandum and on this email. Offers are due Friday next week, January 26th. So I recommend you guys take a strong look at this. Again, 130 units, Wahpeton, North Dakota. You're looking at let's say you came in at 4.5 to 4.7 million. You're looking at You're looking at almost pretty much a 7.5 cap on 130 units on city utilities, majority tenant-owned homes. You're covering debt service with standard. This is going to qualify for agency debt all day. So if you guys are interested in this deal, reach out to me. Offers are due Friday, January 26th. Hope this video was helpful. I'm going to start doing this on more of our featured listings just to get you guys kind of situated with everything on these deals. Appreciate you guys watching.